But it's 1 year on after Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election. We bring you the story so far. We'll have conversations on the back of it. What do you remember about this day last year? Tell us about it. Send us a WhatsApp message. But here's the story so far. I'm sure you remember playing back those clips to you, what happened a year ago. After the violence, well, former President John Mahama and President Akufo-Addo spoke. Let's bring you up to speed, a reminder of what they said when this happened. Well, at the time, former President John Dramani Mahama called on the Ghana Police Service to expedite investigations into the circumstances leading to the violence which was perpetrated against members and supporters of the NDC. And on that day, it was a Thursday, it's a Friday this year, but it was a Thursday last year, in that by-election in the Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency here in the Greater Accra region. While addressing NDC delegates at Georgia in the Ketu North constituency after resuming his campaign in the Volta region, Mr. Mahama described the attack as an affront on Ghana's constitution. He said the disruption of the by-election was a product of the NPP's or die be die. Well, this was, as you saw, the sign by spokesperson James Ajenim Boateng then, you know, when it happened on behalf of the former president. But we had our president also share some words on what had happened. Here we go. So the president said the isolated incident of violence which occurred in the early stages of the election was unfortunate and regrettable, and he condemned it in no uncertain terms. According to him, a by-election should be a peaceful and happy event, no matter how competitive. The police is committed, he said, to conducting a rapid inquiry into the matter, and he expected at the time all persons were found culpable at the end of the process to face the full rigors of the law. President said it is important also to state that the New Patriotic Party, the party from which his government was born, would never dream of competing with any other political party in unleashing violence on the Ghanaian people. And this was President Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, issuing that statement after that violence. Remember, we went ahead to set up a commission. We had various people appear before that commission, the Emil Short Commission, now defunct, gave some recommendations. At the time, the police were also investigating this matter, and as you heard in that statement, President Akufo-Addo said the police were going to look into it and then prosecute any person found culpable. But as we speak a year on, well, Roland Walker is here. I'm not sure. Maybe I have a very short memory, but I don't remember the police updating us and telling us any persons that they are pursuing. And I don't remember any case in court that they are also prosecuting. Do you?
I don't, because I know foremostly it was the director in charge of operations at the Accra Police Command, DSP Kwesifori at the time, who had to come in. And at the commission's proceedings, ultimately we also got to know that the nearest police station or post, which was the Wuogon police station, did not have all the necessary actions and the coordinations that needed to have happened to make sure that the right things were done. Because we should remember, there was a coordinating center for the police and the other security services that was around Jowulu, Abelingpe also, and it's from there that they did the various dispatches. But at the commission's proceedings, we got to know that ultimately there was a lack of coordination between the police and the national security, because the shots that we saw with these men who are just behind us at the back of the bucket, really, they first came through initially in the early hours of 6 when we got there, and they first came through and ultimately they had to come back. So ultimately we know what transpired and then what the repercussions have been.
Exactly. We went ahead to get some recommendations. We have a law because of this incident as well. But here's Secretary to now defunct Commission of Inquiry, Ernest Kofi Abochi, speaking.
Elections should not be about bloodshed. Elections should not be about instability, violence of any kind. And so all forms of violence should be abhorred and should be rejected by the youth. The youth are the future owners of this country. And so if we destroy this country by any form of violence, the youth are the biggest losers. We should not go into any election fearing for ourselves and fearing for the stability of Ghana. So my advice to the youth is that they should see themselves as actually the owners of the Commonwealth, the Ghanaian Commonwealth. And as we go into elections, elections should be about decision making. If the youth have divergent political opinions, they should try and sway others to their opinions. They should support their political parties. But the youth should always have at the back of their minds that ultimately the ultimate destruction of this country is on their heads. And they are the biggest losers moving forward. And so my simple advice for the youth, and probably may have fallen out of that bracket, but I think I'm in the youth myself, we should be conscious and calculating of all actions, because in the end, when all is done and dusted, we are one country. When it all is done and dusted, it's all about the decisions that affect our economic bottom line, about our political stability.
Well, former President John Dramani Mahama is scheduled to address a forum later this morning. We'll bring you up to speed and tell you all about it when it gets underway. You're still watching the AM show. Stay with us.